Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. Give me a nice thumbs up if you can hear me. Great stuff, brilliant. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Amanda McDade. I'm National Head of Careers and Education for Springboard. And today we're going to be talking to you about a great passion of mine, FutureChef. And we're going to just be covering how FutureChef can help with the talent pipeline and making sure we have a consistent lot of chefs coming through to the industry from schools and colleges. We've got a great session planned today. I'm just going to go through FutureChef for some of you who might not know about the programme. And then we've got some chefs and some FutureChef alumni just to bring it all to life for you. So please keep any questions to the end. We'd love to hear your questions. And if you can put them in the chat box, or when we come to question and answers time, even just give us a show of hands and we would be delighted to field any questions for you. So FutureChef. FutureChef is a competition and a programme that helps young people aged 12 to 16 to learn how to cook. And it inspires them about exploring food and cooking as a life skill, but also helps them develop their culinary talent and informs them about entry routes into our industry. FutureChef was developed as a result of research findings which looked into perceptions of the industry from a young person's perspective. And whilst they saw TV chefs and celebrity chefs almost as highly as pop stars or television stars, really surprisingly few genuinely considered being a chef as a career. So we realised we had a bit of a problem here, given that the skills shortage in the industry, in the kitchen, is one of the biggest issues that we've got in our industry. So Springboard Charity was really keen to tackle this problem, and with the support of some real key players in the industry, FutureChef was developed in 1999. Now, since then, FutureChef has grown and it is now the largest national schools programme for cooking in the UK. And it's the last kind of full year that we did FutureChef, we had over 738 schools engaged and over 16,000 young people from 12 to 16 getting involved in the cooking competition. Now, it provides an excellent talent pipeline, and we're going to come on to this a little bit later and bring that to life with some of our chefs. And also through FutureChef, we engage with over 820 professional chefs right across the UK. We also work with FE colleges to host our local regional finals and also our national final. We cannot thank them enough for their support. And we also work with a variety of hospitality employers nationally and locally to offer this fresh pipeline of talent into the industry. And those kind of hospitality employers get involved in various aspects of FutureChef, from mentoring to judging and to getting involved in some of the work that we do within schools. Now, obviously, sorry to mention the C word, but obviously COVID has had a massive impact on our industry, and we're really concerned about the impact that this would have on young people. So we're now looking at 97% of young people not considering our industry as a career choice. Therefore, the work that we're doing within Springboard and the work that we do with chefs and hospitality companies right across the UK has never been more important. It's really important that we underpin the industry to be able to support this talent pipeline right through, to make sure that we are addressing some of the chef shortages that we will expect to arise again. Projections also show that we expect 1.5 million young people to be unemployed across the UK. So we have an opportunity here to be able to influence that before it happens, when we're dealing with school pupils across the UK as well. It's really important that we keep culinary careers at the forefront of the students' careers options, to make sure that we have enthusiastic, talented young chefs entering our industry, and that we're equipping them with basic skills and the knowledge that they need to know how to get into our industry. We all know that our industry is going to bounce back, and through our hard work and dedication and the work we all do collectively in schools, we will be ready with an inspired, fresh pool of talent. Now, this year we have been working really hard. We've not had the same competition we normally do. Normally by this time we're kind of we've done our national final and we've been through various heats with the colleges right across the UK. With COVID-19 restrictions, we weren't able to get into schools. Schools weren't able to get into colleges. We weren't able to hold the same heats. However, the team really quickly adapted within Springboard, and we developed a programme of activity for young people. And we broke it down into age groups. So there was a FutureChef development programme, age 11 to 14. And those young people went through food-based modules that were all supported by industry chefs and videos and lots of exciting challenges for them to get involved in. And we also ran the competition as an online competition. We're now at the kind of stage, the final stage, which is our FutureChef Bake Off. And that is being judged right now by our national chefs. We've also introduced this year culinary career sessions, and I'll come on to them a bit later. And we've had several teacher support webinars as well to be able to support teachers through how to use our new materials, what FutureChef's all about, and all the opportunities that are coming up within the industry for employment. After the summer, we're really excited because we know that we're going to go back to that FutureChef competition that we all love, know and love. We will also be splitting the age group like we have this year. We found that this has worked incredibly well, with the competition being focused on 14 years plus, with those younger competitors involved in our FutureChef Juniors, and they will have lots of exciting opportunities to build their skills and lots of lovely kind of things to get involved with along the journey as well. We've also launched a FutureChef blog, so please keep a wee eye on that, where we're just bringing to life some of the activities that's happening within FutureChef over the next wee while. So looking at our culinary career sessions then, over the next couple of weeks, kind of starting the end of May, we're introducing 4 webinars, and this is for young people who've got a passion for cooking, those young people who are thinking about coming into the industry, or perhaps they're not sure, but they just want a bit more information, those that have been through FutureChef. And we're introducing 4 sessions. They're all chef-led. The first session will be looking at roles within the kitchen. So we'll be looking at what a commis chef is, what a pastry chef is, bringing that to life with some video footage, and also chefs online to be able to field any questions from young people. Our second section looks at sectors. So we'll be talking about where you can work as a chef. You can work in a hotel, you can work in a restaurant, but you could also work in a cruise ship or within a stadium. So there's lots of opportunities there that perhaps young people haven't thought about. And our third session is looking about how these young people get into our industry. So it's about shining a light on apprenticeships, on job opportunities, further education, and just supporting them through their journey into our industry. And our last session is talking about all the exciting, wonderful things that happen in the kitchen and as a career as a chef. Now, what we want to capture here really is all of the amazing mentoring that happens within the kitchen, the opportunities for personal and social development that happens when you're kind of working with lots of different people within the kitchen, lots of different nationalities, and the opportunity for travel and for training within the kitchen. So we're really looking forward to these sessions to be able to support young people at the end of the FutureChef journey. Now, what FutureChef can offer is a direct link into schools and colleges, obviously the fresh pipeline of talent for apprenticeships and for vacancies to address our skills shortages. And then also we have lots and lots of inspiring young people with a real passion and flair for cooking. And you'll hear all about that in a minute because we've got 2 of them on the call with us, which is fantastic. It also offers development for your chefs through judging, mentoring, and chef demonstrations, and positive exposure of company brands, working with a network of FutureChef schools, sponsors, and professional chefs. It also supports, and this is the most important, supports the future generation of chefs and makes a real difference in these challenging times. Now, this video I was going to share, but unfortunately it's a bit pixelated, so we're going to just move straight on to, we're just going to move straight on to our chef session, and the chefs can obviously bring to life some of that because the video wasn't working earlier, but there we go. So this is some of our valued sponsors, FutureChef. We work with many companies right across the UK. And we also have some brilliant Future Chef champions. Obviously, Michelle Roux Jr. there, who supports Future Chef. And this statement of Future Chef is exactly what we need to recruit new talent by inspiring the next generation of chefs. It's critical that other industry professionals use their platform to promote this initiative. And that's really what we're all about. It's about Future Chef being spearheaded by Springboard, but incorporating the whole of the industry in supporting and using their platform to promote what's going on within Future Chef and to kind of support that talent pipeline through. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a minute. Lovely to see so many faces on the call now. And I'm just going to ask some of my chef guests just to introduce themselves. So we wing over to Mark and Nathan.
Hi, my name's Mark Reynolds. I'm the executive chef at Tottenham Hotspur's award-winning stadium, and been involved with Future Chef about 10 years now.
Hi, I'm Nathan Racy. I'm Mark's apprentice at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm currently doing my level 3 chef de partie. I'm on day release at Wembley. Not Wembley, sorry, at Westminster. And yeah, that's it really.
Brilliant, thank you guys. Zoltan, if you could introduce yourself.
Hey there, my name is Zoltan Sabo. I'm the executive chef of Cameron House on Loch Lomond.
Fantastic, thank you, Zoltan. And Jodie?
Hi, I'm Josie Colkin. I was this year's winner and I'm still at school, sadly.
Brilliant. So I'm just going to spend some time just getting a bit more information out of these guys, because they've each been involved in Future Chef, been amazing supporters or competitors, and it'd be really good to get a bit more information about their Future Chef journey. As I said at the end, you'll be able to ask questions of any of them. Just put your questions in the chat function or raise your hand and we'll be able to field them for you. So starting off with you, Mark, can you tell us how you first got involved with Future Chef, what your role has been and how you're currently involved?
Yeah, so I first sort of got involved with Springboard before Future Chef. I went through an ambassador program, which I loved and really brought me out myself and taught me how to speak in front of people, and got introduced to Future Chef through the Springboard ambassador program. So I started off judging regional finals, and then we got involved via Future Chef. We did some demos for some local schools. I was at Wembley Stadium at the time. Just getting involved in local schools, we then actually become part of their GCSE. So they would come in every other week. Myself and my sous chefs would teach them the skills they needed for their GCSE. And then they would go on and sort of learn how to cook various parts of the kitchen. And then we would do a dinner at the end of the year for them, which again formed part of their GCSE. We'd invite the mayor in and some local people, and they would get to cook for them. And then just really got the bug for mentoring, really. I met Nathan through a mutual friend. Sort of he showed his passion, and funny enough, Nathan went to the same senior school I went to. So it was nice to be working with Nathan in the senior school that I went to, but also through the mutual friend. So we managed to get Nathan to the regional finals. Unfortunately, didn't get to the final, although I think he should have, but that was me being biased with Nathan. And then luckily enough, we managed to have a position available when I took over at Tottenham for an apprentice. And luckily we took Nathan on as my apprentice. He's been with me 2 years now. He's doing really well. Even, yesterday he went on for Compass Apprentice Chef for the Year. And he won that heat yesterday, so he's into the final of Apprentice Chef of the Year for Compass, which is fantastic. And yesterday was a mystery box, so it wasn't something we could teach him. He actually had to go in there on his own skills, write his menu, went on with experiences that he's learned with us over the last few years. And he managed to win and get through to the final. So the final is actually Nathan's menu. So we'll have some time with Nathan now, like we did with Future Chef. We'll be able to mentor him, practice his dishes, and move on from there. So I suppose the biggest involvement for me now with Future Chef is I've just been awarded the National Vice Chairman of the Craft Guild of Chefs. So I actually represent the Craft Guild of Chefs and sit on the committee for FutureChef, which I'm very proud to do and sit on that committee.
Fantastic. So can we just talk a wee bit more about your mentoring sessions with Nathan then?
Yeah.
So how was the mentoring process? Did you enjoy it? What did you get from it as a mentor? And yeah, if you could just bring that to life a little bit, because it's obviously something that people might be considering getting involved in, and it'd be good to just hear a bit more from you.
Yeah, I had to sort of go back, and obviously I'm used to working with a full-time brigade, a qualified full-time brigade. So to take someone from a school environment and trying to teach them restaurant dishes was very different, and you had to use a different language. We actually did 2 dishes with Nathan. The first dish, he picked up pretty quick, to be fair, and I was really surprised with his skills. We got him a knife set, so he cut his fingers quite a few times on the first knife set that we got him. But rolling into the second stage, we lifted our game with what he was cooking, and I have to say we had to practice it a lot. But also for me, I was bearing in mind with Nathan, yes, he knew how to cook this dish, but did he know how to get himself out of trouble? If he got himself into trouble, if the meat wasn't cooking to how we'd practiced it, or if he'd burnt his rosti. For me, it was about teaching Nathan recovery as well, and how to get himself out of trouble. And it took a lot of time. And for me, you definitely had to push yourself. It was very rare that you get weekends off, and spending, probably 6-7 hours with Nathan on a Sunday takes a lot of commitment. But he certainly had the passion. I see the future in Nathan, and, I was happy to do it. His commitment definitely got me through it. I think you could have easily walked away from it, to be honest with you, but seeing just how passionate Nathan was and how he wanted to achieve pushed me, really. I think I've learned with Nathan, he had the passion to be a chef. We can't teach him that passion. I certainly could have taught Nathan how to cook a dish, but without Nathan being committed, wanting it to be part of his future, I certainly couldn't have installed that into him. So I think if a student's got the passion and they want to do it, you're 99% of the way there, man, and we can teach them how to cook. But Nathan's, for me, I was impressed with his timekeeping. He's like if we said we're doing a practice session at 10 o'clock, he's always there early. He'd always have his knives, he'd have his whites that we got him ready to go. And you could just tell that he wanted to do it, which made a big difference for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nathan, should we hear from you? Because we've heard from Mark. You can tell us your side of things. So can you tell us a bit about, from a competitor's point of view, your experience of the FutureChef competition? How did you hear about it? How did you get involved? Can you give us a little bit more information around that? Yeah,
the FutureChef was really eye-opening for me, because it was our first sort of main competition that I got involved in from school. When I was in school, I took part in it's called like a MasterChef competition. I ended up winning, but the level of that was nowhere near compared to the level that Mark started teaching me when I was doing the competitions through him. And he helped me out when I was doing it as well. He allowed me to go to Wembley to train for it, which sort of gave me a taste to get into like an actual kitchen and prepare myself for it that way. And develop my flavours and skill set. Yeah.
Brilliant. So how was working with Mark? Did you both gel quite well together, or was it a bit, did you have to kind of find your stride together? How was the mentoring?
No, I thought we got on quite well through the competition. I had a lot of respect for Mark, and I think we worked quite well through the competition.
Brilliant. So you're now working at Tottenham Hotspur. How did that come about? And can you tell us a bit about like a day in the life? What kind of work are you doing there at the moment?
Yeah, like as Mark said, through the off the back of the competitions, I've done my work experience with him, and he said he had a placement for an apprenticeship role. So now I took that on from leaving school. When I first started joining, I was working with the players, wasn't I? Yep. So I was doing work with the players, and then now I've sort of worked my way up into one of the nicer restaurants there, which I think is about 30-40 pound a season ticket in there. So so the food level up there is really good. So I'm now working where I really want to be there, and enjoying a day at Tottenham.
Fantastic. So what would you say to chefs looking to get involved in FutureChef? So thinking about people who perhaps going to mentor or to judge or to support the competition.
Well, as in young chefs trying to get into it.
Yeah, any kind of chef. So obviously we're talking about young people kind of becoming part of FutureChef, but also we're wanting to get more chefs engaged. So more people to come in as a mentor, as a judge, as to do schools work, etc. What would you say to them? How has it helped you?
Well, I think for young chefs to definitely take it up and go into it, because when I first, you haven't got to worry about trying to win the competition. It's not always about thinking you have to win it. Because I've done a few competitions since then, and each competition I feel like I'm getting stronger and sort of better in my skill set as a chef. So you haven't got to go into it with the mentality that you have to win, because even if you don't, and you still take good experience from the whole competition as it is. And for other chefs trying to think about taking in mentoring, I guess, as Mark said, it definitely helped him to do a different side of things, rather than just leading a full brigade of chefs, to actually work individually with people and yeah, have a task in hand in trying to get someone through a competition.
Fantastic. So what's your future plans, Nathan? What's next?
I'm not too sure really. I definitely want to try and go, obviously I'm working in stadium at the minute, so my next probably step would to change it up a bit and maybe move into restaurant and get to learn a bit of restaurant style food, because it's a completely sort of different atmosphere, I've heard. So that'd be nice to just see a different style of service. And yeah, then after that, I'm not sure, there's so much you can sort of do as a chef. You can go around and travel around the world, which I would be interested in doing if the opportunity came up. Quite interested in going somewhere like Australia or like Norway or something like that. I quite like the Scandinavian sort of cuisine at the minute. And yeah, everyone sort of says the aim at the end maybe is to have a restaurant, but if that happens, then happy days. But if not, then I'm just going to soak up as much as I can sort of learn in the future.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. No doubt we'll have some questions coming back to you later, but thank you for bringing that to life. That's brilliant.
Cheers.
I'm just going to introduce now Zoltan. Zoltan was our winning mentor chef this year. So congratulations, Zoltan. Can you tell us a little bit more about being involved with FutureChef and what it's meant to you?
To be really honest, I was felt quite privileged to work with Jodie on the FutureChef competition, and I always been the firm believer of supporting the younger generation and the whole education side of it. And I tried to spend as much time with Jodie as myself physically can in preparation for the competition, and to be able to work with someone who's so moldable and wants to learn and keen to understand the full process and wants to involve in the whole aspect of it is really brilliant, and it's really makes it brings you back those memories of why you become a chef and the whole aspect of it. I mean, I can't really describe it any better. I love every part of it.
Fantastic. So I had the privilege, actually, Zoltan, of being there at the start with you, because we did the local final together in Glasgow. Yep. And I remember at the judging stage, you saying to me, "I see something in this girl. I think I could work with her." Yep. So absolutely brilliant to be able to be there from the beginning right through to the national final. So could you tell us a little bit about the skills that you kind of worked with Jodie and you saw developing in her at each different stage of the competition?
So for me, the very first thing what was stood out from Jodie, it was the personal presentation. So remembering back, Jodie was in the last stage of the kitchen, if I remember right, working, and the whole personal presentation of taking pride for your uniform. So it's clean, it's pressed, the shoes were so polished, and you don't often see that even from professional chefs these days, unfortunately. And that's really the first thing what was really an eye-opening. And then it was went on to the whole work ethic of the way she was work. So from tidying down to organizing her sections, and throughout our training, the whole mise en place arrangements and the curiosity of why are we doing something, and what's the best way to do it, or what's the implication if we are not doing it. on certain way, and you don't get that curiosity from someone who's not interested. And I think if someone's curious, interested, shows the care and the passion for the trade, that you can't ask for anything else, especially
Fantastic.
these days.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously getting Jodie ready for the national final, that was a massive step after winning the regional final at City of Glasgow, and all of those young people who came along to the college to cook off, and the standard there was very high. So the next stage obviously is the national final, which is a massive step up again. How did you get her ready for that?
To be really honest, I was quite lucky, because Jodie's the type of person who wants to win. So the mindset was already there that I want to achieve this. And we done majority of our practices were either done on Thursday afternoons after school or on Saturdays. And again, for somebody to give up a Saturday just to come into the kitchen and to practice is already worth it for me to be there. And to be really honest, when it was came to the whole practicing, we done loads of cook-offs for every single course on its own, and then set times against each course to compete for. And then when we done the last couple of cook-offs of the full meal, I kind of stitched Jodie up a little bit, because I took time off from the other ones just to ensure that Jodie's gets pushed. But always that ensures Jodie's timekeeping is right, and so on. But I think when it comes to the dedication, that's really exemplary.
Fantastic. So how was your experience at the national final?
I loved it. I think I was more nervous than Jodie's mum. I not often cry, but I was had tears definitely when Jodie got announced the winner, and I could easily say it was last year's best memory for me.
Fantastic. Brilliant. I know exactly what you mean. I cry every year at FutureChef National Final, and I've been going to them for about 20 years. So yeah, 100%. So what would you say then, Zoltan, to chefs who are thinking about getting involved in FutureChef?
When it comes to anybody who would like to apply as a young chef, I definitely think they should go for it. They should try. Don't be discouraged of the failure, or if you not get through from one heat to another, or if you not win the competition. As ultimately it's about developing yourself, it's developing your skills. Even if you win, I'm a firm believer, stay humble, keep your feet on the ground and your head up in the clouds. But the positive work ethic goes a long way. And even if you're not won that competition, if somebody sees you from the judges that your work ethic is good, it's clear, you're working the way it should be, your personal presentation, your hygiene and so on is spot on, you can end up being a bigger winner on a long run than the person who actually won it. And when it comes to mentoring chefs, I genuinely think it's an amazing thing to do, and to pass your knowledge on to someone. If you have the opportunity to do it, then definitely should do it.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Just picking up on one of the points you made there. It's not always about the winner. It's not always about winning every heat or every stage of the competition. It's about the journey and the mentoring. So we have lots of young people who have been through FutureChef and got as far as local final or regional final, who have done incredibly well. And they've made those vital links with industry and with their mentor chefs, and have gone on to kind of do other competitions or gone on into industry and be supported in that as well. So absolutely, it's not always about the winner. However, what I want to do just now is introduce you to Jodie, who is our fantastic winner from last year, and really hugely well done, Jodie, on your win. You beat over 16,000 young people to be able to pick up the title, and that's no easy thing to do. How does it feel to be the FutureChef winner? And did you think you were going to get there at the start of your journey?
So, do you know, it's like I was I always talk about it, like my family and all that. It still hadn't like properly sunk in that I'm doing this with my life, because before it, I never had a clue what I wanted to do. I always liked like hospitality and home economics and all that, but I was like, what do I do? Because all my friends in school were applying for college and all that, and I was like, I'm panicking because I don't know what to do. So in the class, we done a small competition. It was a pasta dish, and mine's got chose, and I think I made this chorizo carbonara, and that was the most I knew. And I went to it and I cut my finger. I don't know if Zoltan can remember it. And I was like, oh no, panicking in my mind. But I was like, oh, can I get a plaster? And then it got to it, and I was just standing, because in my mind, everyone else was like doing all this fancy stuff, and I had no clue. Like my teacher was like, oh, just go and do it and see what happens. And sure enough, I won. And then I can remember the first time I went into the kitchen, it was in the Glasgow Central, and I was like, oh my God, like my heart sank. I was like, I'm going to muck this all up. They're all going to be laughing at me. Like, I'm going to burn this kitchen down. But luckily I never. And it was fine. So we just kept practicing and like doing stuff. Obviously, mistakes happen, but I think they helped me realise like that's going to happen. You just need to get used to it and learn from it. But it was fine. But no, see it going through it, I was like, what's the point of me going here? I'm never going to win. And then I got there and I cooked my dish, and then I was like, oh, I actually do have quite a good chance, because I didn't mess anything up, because in my mind it was fine. But it was, I think leading up to it's more stressful than when everyone's like, right, you can start, and then you start and like just you're so focused that you don't actually think like, oh, I'm going to win or lose. You just think, I need to just cook this the best I can and just do everything that Zoltan taught me, and I win.
Absolutely, and I think that's where the practice comes in, doesn't it, Jodie? Because you can go back to what you've been taught in that moment of, you know, being in the kitchen and being unsure of what you're doing. If you've practiced enough, you can go back to your time plan, you can go back to your menu, you can remember what your mentor has said to you and be able to kind of pick up from there. So you worked really hard with Zoltan, obviously, for several months. So the local final at the City of Glasgow College was in November, I'm sure, and then the national final was in March of 2020. So you'd worked with him for several months. Can you tell me a wee bit about the mentoring process, the types of dishes that you worked on together, your practice sessions, and how you built your skills and confidence throughout that?
So firstly, I went into the office and we were just sort of talking about what sort of food I liked, so that I was actually cooking something that I enjoyed and I could learn a bit more about. So I love seafood. Like, it's my favourite thing to cook and eat and everything. So that's what I said, and we were just sort of going through the cost of it all. And like, we made up the menu. So we went in, and the first day he sort of just showed me how to do this, like step by step of every detail of every dish. And I was thinking, oh my God. So I was taking the notes down. And I was like, how am I supposed to do this? But the next time we went in, I would just do like the main course, which was cod, so it was. And then I was like, that's fine. But I think it's just once you learn trusting your instinct on, right, that's ready. I don't need to sit and do millions of things to see if that is perfect. Like, you just sort of, in your head, you're like, yeah, that's how I've been shown and that's how you do it. But I don't know, for the final, it was the mystery box, so it was, and it was the chickens I had to fill it, and like, no, it was horrible to start with, but then you just get used to it, and it's like it becomes second nature, like how to hold the knife, how to just easily like do it as fast as you can. But it was also figuring out like the plating, because you're that nervous that you're shaking, so you're trying to plate stuff and it's going everywhere, and you're just panicking, and all the chefs are standing around waiting to try it, and there's grease all over the plate, and you're trying to, it was just madness to start with. But I noticed myself as time went on, you just like, you pick it up so fast, because I was practicing so much as well, and I loved it. I think because I found that was something I was passionate about. I just wanted to put like all of my time into it, and I can remember saying to Zoltan the night before the competition, like, I kept going over the time plan, and I was thinking, right, do this, this, and this, and I actually dreamt about the time plan. And the next morning I was like, do you know, I know it actually worked, because I had to dream about it, which is mad. So it is.
Fantastic. So tell us a wee bit about the national final then, Jodie. How did you find it? Obviously you were there with 11 other competitors from right across the UK. all of them kind of the top in their region. So the standards was high. How did you find the national final?
Well, it was very nerve-wracking because obviously I was thinking, like, this is the last stage, and I had been cooking on gas, and then I went in and it was induction, and I was thinking, oh my God, and I just walked in and I can remember Zoltan and my teacher, Miss Fukosa, were just like so focused, and I was like, I can't even show that I'm panicking right now. So we laid everything out, and I was working with my back to everyone, which I think was better because I wasn't looking about seeing, oh, what are they doing? Is that better than mine or not? I was just focused. And I don't know, I think I sort of did prepare myself for the worst, and it wasn't the worst. It was like, I always say it was stressful, but it was a good stress. Like, it was a stress that helped me work even harder, and I feel like that day was the best like I could have possibly done that dish. So it was, because obviously some days are good and some days are bad. Like, some times are off, and then some days you're left for loads of time and everything just goes cold by the time everyone wants to eat it. But yeah, it was good. But see the walking out as well, because we obviously walked out to the big hall and we were all sitting, and I just seen my mum, Zoltan, and my teacher, and I pure felt like crying. I was like, no, I can't do that, that's embarrassing.
Fantastic. So you're in your final year of school now. What's next for you, Jodie?
So I recently applied for an apprenticeship to work with, well, not to work with Zoltan, but to go down to Cameron House and start doing my chefing apprenticeship. So
Fantastic.
it took me ages to apply for it because I was like, oh, what do I write? Do I write this and that? And I was pure sitting with my mum. I was like, do I write that? And she was like, yeah, you're fine. I think she was getting frustrated with me by that point.
And did you think at any point Zoltan was going to say to you, no, Jodie, we don't want you in the kitchen? No.
No, because I don't know. I just enjoyed working with him so much, and I think he felt the same. And it wasn't as if it took us a while to be like, oh, I now understand you. It was just like instant. Like, I was just like, yeah, I'm ready to listen and learn from you.
Fantastic. So what are your future plans? Have you got any idea where you see yourself in the next few years?
Well, I've always said I wanted to move away when I'm older, because I couldn't really see a future here, and I don't know why, it's just in my head. So I would want to move somewhere like Greece and open up a restaurant, like a seafood restaurant, like close to like beach and stuff. So I feel like that's what I would enjoy the most.
Well, you must remember all of us when you do that, Jodie, because
I know I will. I'll invite you all over.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much, chefs. You've really brought to life some of FutureChef. We've got some questions now. So if anyone got some questions in the chat bit, and I'll just read them out. And then if anybody else wants to ask questions of any of our chefs, please do. So question from Sandra Morrison for both Nathan and Jodie. Have you developed skills doing FutureChef that's helped you in other areas of your life?
Who's going first?
I don't mind.
Go on, Jodie.
See, it's just like everyday life. You just realise that you just do stuff more efficiently. Like, say if my mum was at work and my dad was coming from work and I was making the dinner or something, I would be like, oh, what could I do to make this dinner actually better than a regular dinner for my dad? Or like, even at school, it's like you just want to try your hardest because you know you can get better results if you actually do put your best efforts in.
Fantastic. And Nathan?
Yeah, for me, from the competition, I took on so many skills that I've learned there that I use every day at work now. Like mainly like from a young age, it was mainly like developing, understanding how flavour develops during like different stages of cooking, which is like, it's hard to understand, but there's certain stages that develop flavour, and that's sort of a big thing with cooking. And then mainly time management, attention to detail. Even like when it comes to like plating, like using like odd numbers on a plate, like putting 3, 5 and stuff like that to make food look better. Like as Jodie said earlier, like knife skills, how to work efficiently. And yeah, like even like when it comes down to like butchering a chicken, like I use that in work to this day. And yeah, so.
Fantastic. So another question for you both. Both Nathan and Jodie, a question from Megan. At what age did you know you wanted to be a chef? And was there something in particular that made you want to be a chef? And how can schools encourage pupils to consider being a chef?
For me, it was probably from about the age of about 13 or 14, I think. Mainly it was just from cooking at home, really. I wasn't the best fan of my mum's cooking, so I just used to try things at home and start cooking. And then, yeah, that was it, really. Just getting cooking at home, getting into it. And yeah, I thought that's what I wanted to do. I wasn't really a fan of the thought of working on like a labour site all my life in the cold. And I definitely couldn't be sitting behind a desk my whole life. Like my whole family's works in the city, so like that's their job, sitting behind a desk, and I'm not that way inclined. I like to be active and like doing different things every single day. So I knew that wasn't for me. And I had a passion for cooking, so that's sort of why I took it up.
Fantastic. And how can schools encourage pupils to consider being a chef?
Sorry, what was that?
How can schools encourage pupils to consider being a chef? What would you say to schools? What's the best way? Honestly, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I think it's FutureChef.
Yeah, no, it is. But FutureChef, compared to sort of your normal school cooking lessons, is a lot more intense, and the skills there you learn during the competition definitely blow school sort of out of the water. So if you're interested in being a chef, then sort of FutureChef is definitely the best way to develop your skill set and understanding of cooking.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. You just thought that I'd have put words in your mouth there, which I'll just but no, I think for us, what we see within schools is that as soon as we engage professional chefs with schools, young people become ignited. You know, they start to develop skills and a passion for what they're doing. And it's one thing for a teacher or for myself to be able to go into a school and say, you should become a chef because there's great opportunities. It's another thing for a chef to go in there and be able to teach those skills and engage young people. That's really where the magic happens. So same question to you then, Jodie. So how did you know you were interested in becoming a chef? And is there something in particular that made you want to do that?
So I always enjoyed cooking and baking and stuff like that. But when I was 16 is when I was introduced to FutureChef. And I think it was just going into the kitchen and seeing how much I did enjoy it, and how like it's just helped me with my confidence and how to speak to people, even like stuff like that. And the same, I never ever wanted to be sitting behind a desk or like doing stuff like that, because I feel like it's just dead repetitive. But with cooking, you can always, like, it's always something different and you can always learn something new. And obviously FutureChef, because with school I didn't actually realise that I was that good at cooking. I just always thought, oh, this is quite fun. But then obviously I done the competition and it was like just an eye-opener for me, so it was.
Fantastic, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to put your hand up or put your microphone on and ask any questions of any of our chefs just now. No other questions? Oh, Mike.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Amanda. You and I know each other. For the benefit of the rest of the audience, I'm representing an organisation called the Worshipful Company of Cooks, and we help contribute to the costs of managing this FutureChef programme, which has been really fantastic. I just want to take the first opportunity to say thank you personally to Zoltan, Mark and Damon for what you do, because you are in a way those unsung heroes, because you've got a day job to do, never mind looking after the future talent pipeline. And I suppose my question to the three of you, so that includes you, Damon, is how much extra time do you have to put into supporting this activity? So are you in a standard year, pre-COVID, are you going to say 2 or 3 schools or something like that? It's just trying to understand that contribution outside of the kitchen where you go and get involved with potential future chefs. So I'll ask Mark first of all, and then Zoltan, and then Damon.
Yeah, I think it depends on the student, to be honest with you, and how far they go. Right. But yeah, for me and Nathan, when we were certainly going through the process, it was a 3-month probably every weekend practicing, and yeah, it took a lot of dedication. I think it's important to mention yourself, Mark, with the sponsorship. I think one of the things that opened my eyes is the dedication from the teachers in the schools with the students. Just talking to some of the students, the parents couldn't actually afford to buy the ingredients, which really shocked me when I was judging some of the students. But to have some sponsors like yourself that are there for the monetary side to provide the ingredients to the students, and even the teachers or even some of the cooks in the school were going out and paying out of their own pocket to get these students through this competition, really amazed me. I didn't really think about that side of it before we went into the competition. Like me and Nathan, very lucky. Compass is behind us, and we could get the ingredients from work. But there's a lot of these young students really have to push themselves, and some of the costs probably would feed the family for 4 or 5 days at home. So, thank you to yourself for the sponsorship, and thank you to the teachers and the cooks that are sponsoring these young superstars coming through. But not just the chefs from my side have to give the dedication, it's the teachers as well themselves that have to put the time in and dedicate to the student.
Thank you. Zoltan, as you walk along the customer journey, how about you in terms of your time spent and that contribution of that resource?
To rehome myself. We done all this is from November till the beginning of March, pretty much every weekend with Jody. Can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you're cutting out a little bit, Zoltan.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you now.
Okay.
No, if you want to try and put off your video, that might help.
I think it's quite important to give as much support as you can to whoever you're dealing with, and when it comes to the produce and to reach out to the suppliers. I was quite fortunate that everybody was supporting the local from our local producers as well. So it was quite great to see the response from everybody, because everybody knows the common goal, and ultimately if we want to make sure that our education and the future talent is out there and this continues to grow, then we need to invest in it, whether that's our time, whether that's company time. I always been fortunate enough that all the companies or the companies where I worked, they all backed up FutureChefs and anything to do with the development of the younger generation. And I feel that's really important for me as well, that if I work somewhere, I want to know that they're willing to invest into the talent who will be potentially their head chef in 10, 15, 20 years time or so on. And ultimately, I would like to give back as much as I gained. So myself, not born in the UK, but living in the UK for the past 18 years, I can say that I learned a lot, and I learned most of my knowledge in the country, and it's just important. It's important to give it back. Whether that's my day off or a work schedule, I will arrange my diary accordingly that I can be there, and if I can't, then I will make sure that my seniors or my direct number twos are there, who will be giving the exact same guidance as I would do. And it was happened once or twice with Jody, where I just physically couldn't be there because I had other work commitments to do. But we made sure that those seniors who I trust the most with supporting and passionate and care for the competition to be there and give the best support they can.
Thank you, Zoltan. How about you, Damon?
Hi, I've only been involved in the last sort of 6 weeks, really. I placed a message on the chat through FutureChef, and a young lady came back to me, and I got involved with the judging. So for me, I'm furloughed at the moment, so the time wasn't really an issue. But saying that, the amount of participants I had to judge and bits and pieces, it was fine. It was probably an evening and a morning's work, you know, and a bit like Zoltan and Mark, I think it's really important to try and give back. I mean, I've been in the industry for nearly 40 years, and I don't want to see the skill set that I've got sort of lost, because I think, without being rude to Mark and Zoltan as well, we're of an era where we've got a skill set that you don't necessarily see anymore, that's not taught. So yeah, for me, it's really important, really, really important to give back.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda, for letting me dominate your webinar.
No, it's great. Great questions, Mike. Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? No. Fantastic. So just want to say a massive thank you to our chefs, especially. So Mark and Nathan and Zoltan and Jodie. It's been brilliant chatting with you, and hopefully for everyone who's been on the webinar, it's been a real insight into what FutureChef is. Oh, we've got one more question. Jeff Hansen. Hands up. No. Oh, that might not have been. Sorry. Yes, so thank you so much for giving your time. Thank you for everything that you do for FutureChef. And also a huge thank you to all of our supporters, right through from those who support us at local finals with the colleges and the regional finals, to our sponsors and supporters of FutureChef. If any of you want any more information, please do get in touch. You can get in touch through the FutureChef website or our Twitter, and we'd love to get you involved in however we can. For those of you who are kind of representing schools, we'd love to give you some more information as well. So thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you've had an enjoyable session. And yeah, have a great day for the rest of the day, guys. Take care, everyone. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.